Welcome to Conversations with Klana, made for the modern woman who wants to raise her self-esteem, increase her satisfaction, and build happy and loving relationships with herself and others. More and more, women feel they have lost their spark and the connection to themselves and miss deep intimacy in their lives. Rather than accept a life that doesn't shine, they want to change to one that does. Join the conversation each week when Klana and her guests explore practical ways and positive solutions to living a new, authentic life based on self-love, connection, harmony, and joy. Now, here is your host, transformation catalyst, author, and speaker, Klana.
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Klana. And today I have a special guest from Great Britain, Susan Kinsey. And she is a qualified energy healer and is currently also training with the British Academy of Sound Therapy. Susan offers a range of services tailored to meet the requirements of her clients. These include energy healing, chakra healing, meditation, emotional release, breathwork techniques, and sound baths. Susan looks to identify energy blocks within her clients and work with them to create a greater understanding of where and why these blocks occur and to tailor a program to release them. That sounds really, really exciting. And welcome again, Susan. I'm thrilled to have you here in my show today.
Thank you so much, Klana, for inviting me. I feel very blessed.
It's so nice to have a British accent again, because normally I'm talking to Americans.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love the variety. And I had people from Australia already, and actually from all over the place. And Germans speaking English as well. So I think sometimes that's the best. Two Germans speaking English.
I love that.
It's funny. Yes. Looking for the right words. Susan, let us know a little bit about what you do that is more than what I just said and how you got there.
So I teach meditation to groups of people online and in a local park at the moment. So at the present moment, that's happening. I also offer one-to-one sessions with people online and in my home, full PPE, if you know what that is. It's kind of the protective mask, hand sanitizer, just to create a really good safe space. I'm also planning to run next year retreats in a forest. I'll come on to that a bit later. And how I came into this field, so I'm a healer, I'm an energy healer, and I have been this since I was small. So,
and you knew about that?
Yeah. Wow. I knew that I kind of have to keep my ego right out of the way. I knew that there was always something different, and I kind of had a sort of, when I was around people who didn't feel very well or felt bit low or just generally off balance, my hands would start to heat up. And actually sometimes, funnily enough, they would go very, very cold if there was inflammation. And through the years of my life, it's probably started when I was about 7 or 8. So through the years of my life, I've realized that I'm quite sensitive and I can feel energy in other people, and I can feel energy in houses. And obviously growing up, that was a bit of a strange feeling that luckily I have wonderful parents and was kind of brought up in a very grounded household, which is great for an empath. It's exceptionally important. And throughout my life, I've just sort of weaved in and out of energy and sort of crystal work, working in massage. And then when I was probably in just before I was 40, I had a really stressful job. I was in sales. I was just drawn into sales for some reason. And I was sitting in a meditation class. I hadn't meditated kind of properly before. And I had suffered with quite chronic anxiety and stress, particularly from the job, actually. And I was sitting in this wonderful studio, and the lady who has actually mentored me as well, Gillian Lenay, she was talking to me about meditation and how energy works. And during her guided meditation, it's incredibly beautiful. I just felt like a sort of, can best describe it's like a whooshing, like I was coming back from something, and I felt like really relaxing into the chair. And there was a moment, and I now understand what that moment was. It was a kind of a sort of a clicking, where a lot of people call it a light bulb moment, where I just knew there was something else out there. I couldn't put my finger on it, and it was intense feelings of love that I hadn't. I mean, I have loving parents and got a loving husband and family, but this was different. Mm-hmm. It was intense feelings of unconditional love just pouring through my body, and it made me cry because it was exceptionally joyful. And I had OCD at the time, and I went home, and when I got out of my car, I used to check my car quite a lot, and my front door and stuff like that, you know, the typical OCD traits. And when I got out of my car, I went into my house, and then I realised, I looked back, and I hadn't done any of that. And it was a moment.
Wow, cool.
Just a blissful kind of, people say, when did it happen? So it was that moment in that
So
studio.
it was like a turning point?
It was a turning point. And then
towards what? What happened then? What was different?
So what happened then? So I realised, I'd let go of the OCD, which was really important.
Can you briefly explain what that is? Because
OCD is, for me, it was a form of controlling my anxiety. So I would, so it's basically, so I was constantly checking things like, so if I would shut the car, I would shut it and then open it and shut it and open it and shut it 2 or 3 times to make sure it was shut. So I was creating safety. Okay. So I only had it on quite a mild, I guess compared to some people I've spoken to, it's quite mild. But like at night, I would check the door was locked, but I would check it like maybe 3 or 4 times. And nobody knew I had this. So you tend to find people with OCD, they hide it. Yeah. And but I realised what was underneath it was quite a significant amount of anxiety that I was masking with it. So with Gillian's help and with a lot of meditation and a fair amount of tears, I managed to kind of dissolve a lot of that anxiety. Yeah. And that brought the energy in my body up. That's probably the wrong word. I could really, when I'd released a lot of the anxiety, I realised that how joyful life really can be. And then I found myself just walking through the woods and looking at trees in a different way and interacting with family and friends completely differently, because I realised from that moment, I was really in control, and I could control my emotions, how I reacted to people, and that was so empowering.
And this is a different kind of control than the OCD control.
Yes, completely.
It's the empowerment. You are empowered to do the things and create the things that you really want. And the other thing was like a remote control of your control. Yeah. And what you said, thank you for sharing that. It's so important exactly now in these times where the whole world is fed by fear. or with fear. I don't know what's the right preposition there. So we get the fear injected more or less. And there it's so important that there are people like you, and I include myself in there too, who help others to not get so much anxious, to not get that fear too near to themselves, or dissolve it, let's say it like that. Because if it's there, and you should acknowledge it, and you should let it through your body and not push it away. That's not about it. It's about dissolving. And this is different for each person, how that could work.
I totally agree with that. So one of the methods that I taught myself at the beginning was a breathwork technique to try and look at the anxiety in a really gentle way. So just kind of doing, when you get the out breath to be longer than the in breath, and it was so simple and so empowering. And I would practice this, and if I would go into fear, and you can kind of feel those tingles and you think, oh, that doesn't feel so good, but you don't push it away. You just sit with it with the breath, and then it kind of dissolves.
Exactly.
And that's beautiful, just to experience to know that you've got the control to sit and just, I guess, holding the space for yourself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so interesting. I'm having goosebumps all over my body, because I remember so many things. I was so anxious, such an anxious person, fearful for, and at the same time I was courageous. So I'm full of contradictions. But this anxiety, which I think I got from my mother, and a lot of things are you get from your parents and from the society. So, and in the end, it doesn't matter where you have it from. It's good to handle it. And and over the years, I also learned some of those techniques. And now I could say, especially since these COVID times, as crazy as they might occur, or this might occur, what I'm going to say now, I'm happy about that. Because for me, it was like a jump over all this anxiety. And okay, sometimes it catches me again. But then I'm using my learned stuff, my technique, and then I can dissolve it again. So I'm not a perfect person, not at all. And we all have emotions, and it's interesting to watch that. That's why we are in this human body. But to learn how to handle it and then to overcome it, that's a great thing, as you described before as well. So it's such a relief. And then you can help other people who are not yet there at that point. So you are teaching meditation.
Yes.
In the park. That makes me curious. Are you going to do that in winter too? Is it like a walking, moving meditation?
It's a sitting meditation. So the style of meditation that I teach is based around the breath work we talked about briefly, the getting the out breath longer than the in breath. And then there's a little bit of yoga nidra involved. So scanning the body for tension and stress, and just kind of releasing it. So the teaching styles that I can tend to be drawn towards are really simple, because I've kind of practiced it on myself first. I use myself as a guinea pig quite a lot, and then think, actually, yeah, that's making some significant changes in my life. I'm going to develop that further, or adapt it to a Sue method, and then use it in my sessions. So, but the park has a really good energy, because obviously the oxygen levels are higher, and then we do a bit of cloud gazing as well. Most of the ladies that come along to the group, they tend to bring their chairs with them, folding chairs. And we have a bit of a standing joke at the moment. We were looking into, the small tents. You can buy them, they're tiny, and you sit in them. So we were saying we'd love to stay doing the meditation, even if it's raining or snowing. And if we had these little tiny, I think you can buy them for sort of at the side of football pitches and stuff like that. So you would, very tiny little tent, you could have that around you.
You put them on your head, or
No, it's quite high. But we looked at them all online, and we were all laughing so much. We said, and one lady said, "Do you know what? I know we're all laughing, but I might get one."
Yeah, why not?
Fine, anything goes.
Make yourself comfortable as possible.
But yeah, I mean, the park's a good place because we meditate under a really big tree as well, and it has a very one lady described it as a very grandmother or grandfatherly energy, a very wise energy. And I love teaching groups where there's different interpretations of an environment. And I mentioned that I was starting my sound healing, so I take all my sound bowls with me as well, and we experience the frequencies of the sound bowls in the park, which is really nice, actually.
I can imagine.
The dogs love it as well, so they are.
And you see that that's the proof. If the animals come, things must be good and light and frequency.
Yes, I love it, and it's fairly small groups because of COVID, but it's still happening and happens every week, and I shall carry on until we can't. So
you're doing it in London?
In a place called Nonsuch Park, which is in Youghal in Surrey, and it's used to be, years ago, it used to be owned by Henry VIII. It was a famous hunting estate. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I've meditated in there for many, many years, and I was just drawn. What a friend of mine said to me, she came to see me once when I was meditating, and she said to me, "Oh, we should form a group here. We should get a group going here." And I thought, "Oh yeah, why not?"
So she was sent at the right time, and then you did it right away. Cool. This is good. So when you are working with people online, you mentioned that before.
Yeah.
It's also mostly about meditation and breathing.
Yes. So there's something that goes on. So as I explained before, I can feel energies in people, and this seems to be, I seem to be able to do this now remotely and when I'm with the person. So most of the sessions I run a tailored to each person's need. So I never tend to know what, it's very guided by spirit. So I never really know. You know what I mean, Klana, don't you?
It's the same. I think all we empathic people, we are working from our gut and from inspiration in that very moment. I almost never prepare for my clients. What comes up, and then we can handle it somehow in that moment. Isn't it like that?
I totally agree. And I feel, when I first started training, I used to plan. I'd be like, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to offer." And those sessions were great, but I felt like I could get more out of the session if I got out of the way.
Yeah.
So if I got out of the way and I let spirit come through me and, use me as a vibrational field, then it was really magical. And I just have to learn, just keep out of the way.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And I'm still in awe of that, because I didn't recognize that gift that I have from an early age on, like you. Mm-hmm. It's only a few years ago when I realized, when I started to give massage to people, when from their feedback, that they said, "This is not only a massage, there's something else happening." Yeah. And at the beginning, I couldn't even believe that. What are they talking about? Because I was, for decades, for 50 years, I was just mind driven. That's how I was conditioned. And then more and more, okay, I could believe it. But it's still for me, it's somehow like so fantastic. And what's happening now, yeah, more and more. And I think more and more people that are still in their minds will get to that place, nearer to that place that we are, and even further on. And there is something which our mind cannot grasp at all, but it is there definitely. And what's important to me is to let people know that this is nothing to be afraid of.
I totally agree. And do you know, sometimes, you know, when you meditate and then you take your awareness to like the furthest sound. So this is something that I've been doing a while, so you take the awareness to the furthest sound just to stretch kind of the awareness, and then bring it back. You know, when you bring it back inside and there's that sound almost inside you, and you think, ooh, it's like a little bit of magic, isn't it? Wow.
Try that. That's nice.
It's a stillness. It's that stillness. You can go right down deep with it. That's really special, really. And there's so much joy. Someone saying to me, oh, you know, I felt absolute joy when I was in that stillness. I thought it would be really calm and still soon. And I said, no, it can be anything joyful, gratitude, immense feelings of gratitude, joy, love, and some stillness as well. But we're capable of feeling like and giving immense love.
Yeah, that's it. And you mentioned that at the beginning as well. It's a different kind of love that is existing here. It is a big, big love for, and really it's unconditional, for yourself, for everyone else, and the whole world somehow. It is something bigger than us. And that has nothing to do with these romantic love relationships we have with our beloveds. It's different.
It's almost like, so I feel that, you know, it's a great privilege to be here on earth. Always feel that, you know, and just, you know, I always have to remind myself, you know, I'm an expression of love. Everybody's expressing love, and we're creating a field, I guess, in the, what's the word? The collective consciousness is creating a field of love. And that sounds pretty fantastic, doesn't it? If we could all sit in that field of love together, giving, receiving, expressing.
Yeah. And getting there, we are not yet there with the whole collective.
No.
All that shit needs to dissolve.
Yes.
So maybe some people will not believe that what we are talking about at this moment. But I am a big believer that everything will be fantastic.
Me too.
It's a choice. It's your choice what you want to believe. Do you want to believe all these fear narratives, or do you want to believe into the better life? And I definitely choose the second option.
Definitely agree with that. It's funny, I'll tell you a little quick funny story. Over the last couple of years, a very good friend of mine who's a philosopher, and he's been looking into ice baths and breath work. And so we've been doing, so he's gone the full hog and gone, you know, the ice baths, the breath work, and I've been doing cold showers. So it was a choice to do it. So you know about making choices. So I knew that I was going to have to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit and feel something completely new. Mm-hmm. So I started with these showers, just pushing the little gauge up a little bit. And then I went, right. So I have my shower in the morning, normal shower, you know, wash my hair and everything. And then I do maybe a minute's worth of, people describe it as Wim Hof breath work. So breathing in, breathing out, no gaps, just keep going for about a minute, and then turn the shower to ice cold. And I stand there for about 30 seconds. I know there's some brave souls out there that go for a lot longer.
Oh, I admire you for doing that.
The choice, but the effect of it, Klana. So I do that, wrap the towel around me, and I feel so much more alive than when I first got in there.
I can totally imagine that. But for me, I am not yet there. I need a warm shower.
A few people have said to me, I put a post on a story on my Facebook feed recently, and a few people said to me, I've tried it. And a couple of people said, I don't think it's for me, which is, again, a choice.
Yeah.
And one lady said that she'd had depression for a long time, and she's just started doing it. And she said, even in 2 days of doing it, she has noticed a change in her behavior, little changes, where she's actually said she's sleeping better. She said, so why would that happen? She's sleeping better. She's not so grumpy in the mornings. She's only done it twice. And I said to her, what if you tried this for 6 months? She's like, I'm going to do it soon. Who knows?
Really, really great. And so, there is that spiritual aspect.
Yes.
There's that busyness aspect.
Yes.
And to bring these together in a balance, I think this is the important thing, because just sitting there and all the day or all day long, and we don't do it. For the yogis, it might work, but not for us in our civilization. So waiting there for something that comes upon me without doing anything does not work. And I learned that. So because before I was totally in the doing, and then I run into that spiritual aspect. I just need to be, only be. Being is everything. It was nice, but it ran me completely down financially. And then comes the point where you see, okay, both parts are okay, but you need to bring them together, to join them and find your own balance. And that might be for every person something different. So that but for me now, looking backwards, the being comes first, and then out of the being comes the doing. And as you say in English, do an aligned action. Yeah, then you can do the action out of an alignment. And what I was trained, at least, and I think a lot of other people also, first do and don't be at all. That was the first part of my life. So I'm so happy that this is going to change now to some kind of healthy normality.
I feel so. I feel that we've got an inner kind of GPS system, a heart, I kind of like to call it the heart compass. We know deep inside what we're meant to be doing, and it's just trying to unpeel all the layers, whether it's through meditation, through yoga, through cold therapy, through just being in the woods and just literally being. And to be, so you are peaceful in one moment, and then you maybe want to do more movement or dance or walking, and then you may want to go back to just resting, just to experience the balance of the two. That's lovely, isn't it? Just to, what's that called? Is that something to do with the Hermetic principles, knowing you've got the balance of the two? You've got the really busy, the movement of the body and the doing, and then the absolute stillness, that stuff inside, the absolute stillness. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can see that in all areas of your life, in your private life as well as in your business life.
I agree with that completely. And I think, as we go through the next few months, it's going to be inevitably bumpy. But I feel that if we can be present with one another and not judge so much, not judge each other and ourselves, that can be really helpful. And looking, sometimes, Klana, when you look at life from a different perspective, and you need to be quite awake to be able to do that. Just look at something from another perspective without judgment. And I found that meditation really helps with that. It helps me I'm married, obviously I need to be able to look at things from my husband's perspective. And it can have its own challenges, can't it?
Yeah, of course. And I'm happy that you mentioned this with a non-judgmental attitude.
Mm.
And I'm getting there more and more. I would say I'm really quite non-judgmental. Of course, it's for some things, sometimes I have an opinion, but I can let anybody's opinion be,
Yeah.
And I think this is important for the whole planet here and all the people there, that we are training ourselves in these things. The other person is not bad or wrong because they have another opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just let this person have their opinion and their truth, and I have mine. We don't need to fight about that.
No, I don't think we do. And it's lovely. Again, use the word empowering. It's very empowering to recognize that and to kind of almost sit back to say, okay, I can see your view. I know my own truth, and just let it be.
Exactly.
It's very healing. I would say that's quite can be transformative.
Yeah.
Take some practice though. I feel.
Susan.
Yeah.
So we are coming to an end here.
Oh no, that's gone quick.
When it's interesting, it's always going fast. Thank you so much for this lovely conversation and your sharings. How could people reach you if they want to use your services or to know more about it?
I have a website, so www. and then purplefeather.org.uk.
That's nice.
So purple and then like the feather, the bird's feather.
I will write it in the show notes.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Namaste. Namaste.
If you listener like it, give us a thumbs up wherever you watch it or listen to it. And you can also subscribe for the podcast.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Klana. Remember to follow us on social media and get connected. Visit our website, conversationswithklana.com, for show notes and additional episodes. And if you like this broadcast, please share it with your friends to help us empower more women to live an authentic and happy life and make this world a better place for everyone.